Others are getting admitted, they are joining. So in the meantime, we will give maybe 2-3 minutes more to all of them to join. Till then, we can discuss something about today's interaction, presentation, awareness program, which we have planned. Basically, what we are going to discuss today, 1 hour through PowerPoint presentation. And post that, I am keeping 1 hour further discussion. So my request will be keep your pen and writing note pad beside you. And if there is any question during the presentation, my request will be please make a note. And whenever we are coming for the open question hour session, that time we can ask question one by one. Since participants are more, so I don't think it will be possible to complete all queries within 1 hour. So I will request that there are email links which are provided to all of you during registration. Please revert your questions to on the same mail ID. And further to help us during the presentation, my colleague Prakriti is also joined. And she will be taking care of all the questions and queries if you are putting in chat during the presentation. She will make a note, and once the question hour session is on, that time one by one we can take up the questions, whatever is possible within 1 hour. And post that, we will help you through emails. So the request is this, that let us keep all our questions written down during the presentation. So still our colleagues are joining. So let us give maybe 2 minutes more, 3 minutes more. Because due to network issues and all that, and since more than 300 participants are also there, so there are some issues. There may be some issues in terms of connectivity and other things. So we have to bear with that. So what I will be doing that during the presentation, I will be muting all of you so that there should not be any cross voice transfer here and there should not be any disturbance during the slideshow. And once the slideshow is over, then you can unmute yourself. My request will be keep yourself muted till you have to ask a question. Unmute yourself and put your name and ask your specific question. We will try to answer all the queries. So still so maybe 1 minute more maximum we can give, and post that I will request my colleague Prakriti to keep on adding the participants who are joining in between. I'm just giving 1 or 2 minutes more because if everybody is there in the beginning of the presentation, it will be helpful. Otherwise, it will be a recap for them. Yes, Samantha is willing to ask some question. Not audible. Can't hear you, sir. But what about anybody else? Maybe am I audible to many of you? Because few participants are telling that they can't hear me. If anyone I am audible, they can unmute and just update. Audible, sir. Okay. That means there is some problem, Samantha, and others with your computer system. Please check at your end, because others are updating me that I am very much audible to them. So now let us start, and in between Prakriti will be keep on adding whosoever is joining. So I am going to mute all of you. And we will start the presentation. And after 1 hour, maybe 40 minutes, 1 hour, after that we will come for question hour session. So if anyone can update me that my slides are visible to you and I am clearly audible to you. Yes, if I am audible and Prakriti, am I audible and my slides are visible? Okay. So let us go ahead with our discussion today. Okay, thank you. Now, just a minute, let me hide this. Yes. So today's discussion, we are going to keep on GLP and ISO 17025 2017 compliances, basic aspects, and what all is needed in a laboratory environment to take care of. See, GLP is a prerequisite if you are going for 17025 accreditation. Whether your lab is accredited or non-accredited, there are some basic rules that need to be followed and stick to when we are operating with hazardous, mutagenic, carcinogenic chemicals, processes where high temperature, high pressure, and then pathogens is a different domain. So good laboratory practices is something which need to be part and parcel of any laboratory per se, whether it is accredited or not. But if it is accredited, somewhere we will see in due course of our presentation that we do take care of GLP. Only thing that it need to be it need to be in the structured mode. It need to be understood what exactly need to be done under GLP and how it need to be done, right? And of course, 17025 in any testing laboratory you are working, the ultimate objective of the laboratory is to get accredited against ISO 17025 2017 version. Now the new version is effective, and the regulatory body in India is NABL. So we will go ahead in due course and see few slides to our organization. I represent today AKD Holding Private Limited, a company which is dedicated to support laboratory and industry. And we are trying to give one-stop solution for all your quality and safety requirements. Because we have seen that for small things, we are approaching to different organizations to get support and help and consultancy and training and other things. So like calibration, equipment, reagent, chemical, type and grade of chemicals, then method validation, uncertainty, NABL. So everything we are targeting to give you and present you in one-stop solution, and we will see in due course how we are going to do that. Few lines about the trainer whom you are interacting today. Many in this group presentation know me personally. I have visited their laboratory during one or the other audit systems, but many who are new to this interaction, basically I'm an organic chemist, and primarily to highlight, I am an NABL auditor also. I am a QCI approved laboratory system management system consultant also. And recently we have got a contract from FSSAI to audit all their state food labs. Presently it is 74, it may increase here and there. For gap assessment against 17025 compliance and other specific compliances of FSSAI. Sorry. Now my journey of technical journey started with FICI FRAC and then end my analytical official association with industry in terms of working 9 to 5 with Intertek. And since 2018, I am as a freelance working with different organizations and now presently with AKD Holding. So our company's scope of work is primarily focusing on training, upgrading skill of manpower associated into laboratory and factory, consulting laboratory and factories for different certification, accreditation, and process and product developments, accreditation and certification. Then projects, say for example, in a specific laboratory, we are working for developing, say, contact migration testing as per present requirement of lab packaging material. And in an industry, we are developing to find out the shelf life of a new product which is developed by the company. Testing, as we all are aware that FSSAI compliance is there that once in 6 months, all your batches, all your product categories need to be tested by a third party NABL accredited and FSSAI notified laboratory. So there also we are helping how to choose a correct laboratory where the accurate and correct results are repeatedly received to the factories. Auditing, as I have mentioned, for government and private, we are doing extensive auditing programs related to their specific requirement. And people are still waiting, so let me just add that. Yes. So auditing related to their specific requirement, or it is related to basically the regulatory compliances. So regulatory in a food industry, if we are talking, we have FSSAI as the apex regulatory body. And then we have EIC, EPIDA, BIS, Spice Board, Tea Board, and many other product-specific organizations also. Now, accreditation and recognition, as I have just discussed, that a food lab has to work in sync with all these regulatory bodies. And we can help you to understand their regulatory nuances, the new developments, and how to comply with their technical competency requirements. Now, this is for industry, that is food business operators. So we work in different domains like fruits and vegetables, ready to eat, oil, fat, cereals, bakeries, spices, etc. Giving specific solutions to their problem in terms of doing HACCP studies, then critical control points, and then product development, shelf life, and so on. Now, coming to GLP. GLP is nothing but good laboratory practices, and it is a quality system concerned with the organizational processes and consistent data with safety. So this is the extract of understanding the GLP, that whatever laboratory is doing, that outcome should be consistent, as well as it need to be with the safety of environment, manpower, and the surrounding in totality. Now, another concept of good laboratory practices, that documentary evidence is very, very required. Whatever you are doing, many of you are part of accreditation process, you can appreciate that anything which we are doing, which we are following, that leads to a record, right? And that record need to be kept in appropriate form with the safety and security of the concerned laboratory or organization. So documentary evidence is very, very important, because everything will be based upon your documentary evidences what you are submitting. Now coming to our typical laboratory setup. You see a laboratory receives a sample, okay? Now the sample is given to laboratory for a particular testing process. Now testing process indicates broadly proximate testing, safety parameters with macrobiology, and chemical parameters, proximate parameters, water testing, and then high-end testing like contaminants and preservatives, additives, and then your pesticide and antibiotic and all that. You must have observed that these sections of laboratory are well defined with specific requirement in their testing domain. Now, any sample which is coming to laboratory is going through these processes. Now, this processes, any process which is happening in laboratory is associated with the risk evaluation that we have to do in terms of quality and safety of process, product, and environment, and of course the human being who is analyst who is performing the test. So after testing, the final product of a laboratory is the testing report. And on the basis of the testing report which is produced by a testing laboratory, a regulatory body takes a decision which creates or which can impact a huge community, huge population, and it involves a huge number of financial stakeholders. So how much it is important, the accuracy, reliability, consistency of the data which is produced by a testing laboratory. And in which environment it will be done is what we are talking, that you need to follow good laboratory practices. Right? Still due to, I think, network issues, many people are still joining, so I'm just letting them in. So receipt of sample is first thing, then entry in storage if immediately it is not registered and booked and coding is done. Then registration coding, then sent to laboratory for testing. And this registration coding again, depends upon what type of product. Is this perishable, non-perishable, agri product, dairy product, synthetic material, water? Everything has a separate storage and pre-storage and coding and decoding system. Analysis is done, then raw data is generated. This raw data is subjected to review and checks, and then submitted to reporting team. Reporting team generates data. Authorized signatory finally checks it, signs it off, and sends the report to the client. Now, retention and storage of both the report generated need to be stored, and the sample which was subjected to testing need to be stored after testing for a specific period of time. Now, this is something which is missing in many places, so please have a focus on this. Report and sample both need to be retained for a specific period of time after testing. Now, again, it depends upon different regulatory bodies are asking their own requirement depending upon the nature of product. Like EIC, they are exporting the product to different country. I'm just citing one example. Now, if you are doing as a laboratory doing testing for EIC compliance, then you have to keep the sample for 6 months. And that is to mostly that the product is perishable, like fish and fisheries or milk and dairy. So you need to have that facility and you need to stick to the specific requirement of the regulatory body. Now coming to other bigger picture of good laboratory practices, 5W and H concept. Now, anything we do in laboratory, we need to focus on 5W and H concept. Let us see what are 5W and H. Now, first is who is going to do this activity? The person who is performing this testing, or review our report, or booking, or coding, or final authorization. What he need to check. So if I don't know the specific requirement of EIC, for example, then how I am going to retain the sample and book the sample and keep whether the